Yay! Hello, ladies. Hello, Currency Current Queens. Oh, this is so fun. We have such a party happening. This is so great. Come on in. Good morning. Hi, Erin. Amazing. This is so good. We'll see. Okay, we'll see who else is able to join live. This is so good. I'm glad that we rescheduled for this day because I think that in August, the summer vacation. Hi, nice to see you. Camera's on. It's so good to like see you guys. I like the Facebook group, but I have to say like I love a Zoom call. Like, good morning, Kayla. Camera off. I see you. Good morning. Early morning vibes. Hello, Simone. Good morning. Hi. Okay, so how this call is gonna work. Oh, I've got an intro, I've got some things I want to share with you, and then we're gonna open the floor, and any burning questions that you have, it can be about the currency current, it can be about money, it can be about shadow work, it could be about human design, it could even be about something that you're working on right now. I've got lipstick on my hand. It's not blood, lipstick. But anything, this is your hot seat coaching call. So you've got me here, ask absolutely anything, let's celebrate. If you want to celebrate like your biggest wins as well, we're gonna have to do that math at some point to see, what actually came through in manifestations, money saved, money given, money received, money gifted, surprise money. And I guess with that, I'll segue into a little bit of an intro, what I want to share with you guys. So I miss the currency current. I don't know about you guys, but I miss it already. I got so used to doing it. It was like almost a month that we were kind of in the vibe, in the flow. And then I realized today when I was grocery shopping with Stella, with my daughter this afternoon, I got a free cart. So like, I don't know what they're called in other countries, but you know the cart for shopping cart, I guess. And you have to put a coin in, then you get the cart. Lately, like since the currency current, I never have to put a coin in. There just is always a free cart. And even though you get the money back, but like I never have to touch my purse to get a cart. I just always get a free cart. And I'm like, currency current. Like, so I just expect, I kept a list. Where did I put my list? So during the currency current, just like with you guys, I hope you guys did this too. So I kept a list. It's messy. But I kept a list of every single little thing. So when a friend bought me lunch, that time that I found 5 cents, the opera tickets that my in-laws gifted me that were worth more than 300 euros, and then the dinners that our friends treated us to that evening, lash extensions, my girl gave me my lash extensions and my eyebrows for free, and that would normally be like 80 euros. So like I put all kinds of things like that, and then of course new clients, contracts, extensions, sales within the business, gifts that I received, like every single little thing went on this list. And when I was in the process of doing that, it gets you in the expectation that you're looking for money everywhere. You expect it. Hi, Anastasia, good morning. You expect it. You expect to receive it. You expect it to be easy. And there's a phrase from a Cardi B song I made reference to during the program. If I'm asking for it, all I want to hear is yes. And like, that's a very cocky, specific energy with money, but it's amazing. Hi, Anastasia, good morning. It's an amazing energy because like, it's like the energy of a child who loves her mom and her mom loves her. And it's like, Stella, she asks, can I have an Oreo ice cream sandwich when we're grocery shopping? I'm like, of course, go get it. And she's like, can I get some more chocolate milk? Because she likes to have chocolate milk with her breakfast in a coffee cup. I'm like, yeah, go get it. And she's like, okay, and she's just a happy little girl, just gets to have her treats and stuff. And I'm like, that's exactly the energy that we have with money and the universe. And we're just like, I asked for it, so like, of course I can have that. So how this shows up for you in your business is, if you get a spark of an idea, that's a money-making idea. Or if you get a spark, because money is also generosity. That's the second part of what I'm gonna say in this intro. Money is also generosity. If you get a spark of an idea, of a program, a masterclass, a mini masterclass, a freebie, an $11 thing, or if you're like, holy shit, I've got the biggest idea for a year-long container, or 9 months with me, or eight months with me. The Lionsgate portal is tomorrow, 8/8. I just got goosebumps. One of you is gonna make an 8-month container offer, and somebody's gonna buy it. One of you is. I don't know who. According to the goosebumps on my arm, that's happening. So you get an idea, and then you're like, I know that this is for somebody. I know that it is. So when you get that spark of that idea, that's your dance and your engagement with the universe. You have to attend to that spark, right? Like that's what the currency current was not. This was not like, I'm manifesting and I'm having orgasms every day and I'm just receiving money all the time. I love working with pleasure to receive, 1000%. I love working with feminine energy to receive. But as you guys know, this program is very much the dance of like the infinity, right? The feminine receiving and the masculine action taking. And then the magic is in the co-creation. So how the ideas, the inspiration drops through your crown, how it moves through your body, depending on your human design, then you act on it. And then, so it's the feeling like of Stella in the grocery store, like, of course I get to have my Oreo ice cream, of course I get to have my chocolate milk. So for you, of course when I post this offer, people want it. And if you're like, ooh, you know, regardless if you're not a manifestor, if you're not a manifesting generator, even if your design type isn't to inform, because like as a Manny Gen, I can inform. I can actually drop into people and be like, I think this would be so great for you. And that's energetically correct for me to do that. But when you feel the pull, never feel limited by your design. Feel the pull. If you have a loud body voice, body wisdom telling you something, listen to that voice. That's part of the dance of infinity. That's the dance of the feminine wisdom receiving and then the masculine action taking. The idea lands, you go launch the arrow. You shoot the shot. So that's one aspect that I wanted to share. That's the energy of the current that I want you guys to continue to live in. So it's good to take some time, right? Like I think we had our last call for day 10. I think it was at the very end of July. Now we're in August. We've all been chilling. I know guys are catching up on replays. Some of you are watching it again, which I love. I've been going through things again, and I'm like, I'm gonna start it again. I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna start it again. Gratitude, 111 gratitudes. I'm gonna play with the big money list. That's the other thing, the big money list. How much stuff happened from the big money list? I had so many things happen from the big money list. Not all of them, not all 33, but more than if I had not made that list. So keep training yourself of like always remembering all of the pathways. The current goes on. This is a part of you. This is always going to be a part of you. I did offer an extension for us to do like a 2-week Telegram kind of intensive. I'm not sure if anybody signed up for that yet. I'll talk about it some more. If nobody signs up, that's okay. We're going to do it in the Conscious Opulence. So everybody who's in Conscious Opulence will just do it us, and that's okay. But I want you, no matter what, if people want to do the extension, it's 222. If you want to join the extension, a Telegram intensive for 2 weeks, and we're going to go through these steps together. But regardless of that, it's not about me, okay? I'm happy that I got to put this together for everybody. I love this work, but you are complete. You have these tools, you have this information. This is you and your heart co-creating with the universe. You are the bridge. You don't need me, you don't need anybody else. And I know that other mentors and coaches and stuff would not say that, because of course, work with me forever, and I love that, yeah. But I want you to feel empowered, because I know how it feels when I've been in a really provocative program and then it ends, and I'm like, oh, I'm just like dangling in the wind, like I'm just on my own again. And I don't want you to feel like that. This is always you with you, okay? You always have this. It's always going to be here to support you. This is timeless. And this was the best round ever of Currency Current. That's part 1. Part 2. This is something that I shared, a riff that I shared in Conscious Opulence. Conscious Opulence is the 12-month mastermind that is the more heavy-duty mastermind. Killer Queen is quarterly calls, 1 day a week of Q&A and Telegram, monthly trainings. Conscious Opulence is everything. It's the fucking buffet. It's everything. It's the 14-course dinner. It's like I love a McDonald's drive-thru, but I also love like a 3-star 15-course dinner. Conscious Opulence is that. So we have 2 times group monthly calls We've got 3 days a week in Telegram. We've got all kinds of members only content, monthly trainings. We're doing the Soul Star chakra next, you guys. We're doing 5D. That's the next chakra that's coming, so get ready. My conscious opulence girl. So in conscious opulence, I share riffs, I share business strategy, I share downloads that come through, channeled messages, and we've got amazing conversations that happen in there. So one of the ladies in conscious opulence, and when you're in conscious opulence, you get all of the programs, all of the classes, courses, master classes, you get everything. So you never have to think about it, wonder, am I in that? You're just in everything, so it's amazing. One of the members popped in and she asked about stirring up abundance. Tomorrow is the Lionsgate portal, right? For those who celebrate, for those who care. 8/8 Lionsgate portal tomorrow. Lots of thoughts on this, and I'm sure that many of you know, like, there can be discussions about the validity of the energetic calendar. Is the zodiac, is it actually correct? Some people think that there are 12 signs, some people say that there are 13 signs. The calendar, I think, used to have 13 months, I think. So are our dates and times even accurate? It doesn't matter, because quantum time, human time doesn't exist. It's just an idea. So it's the energy that we infuse. I mean, I could say a lot more about that, but I won't. My point is this. With the Lionsgate portal, the implication with the Lionsgate portal is big money moves happening, right? And a lot of people put a lot of hype, which can inadvertently become a lot of pressure. That's like, oh, I should be having a big money-making day. I should have a big receiving day. It's the Lionsgate portal. And there are even people that you'll see do fancy branding, and they have fancy special offers that they come out, and there can feel like pressure. I feel like there's a collective pressure. Like I should be receiving, I should da-da-da. But what is the word that you know that I don't like? It's should. Should is a shitty word for all of us. For every single human design type, it's pressure. We don't need that. We don't need more pressure. Now, when it comes to a day that feels like it's loaded with, I should be receiving, it's a big money day. Oh no, if I'm not receiving, then I must be doing something wrong, or I'm failing, or people don't see me, da-da-da. Here's the thing. So with abundance, okay, if somebody is receiving a lot of abundance, that means that somebody else is paying them. That means that somebody else is circulating their money out to purchase something, therefore somebody is receiving that money. If everybody is sitting there being like, I better receive, I better be receiving, but nobody is circulating, then there's no abundance anywhere, right? So my thoughts on the Lionsgate portal is, don't think about the receiving first. First, think about how complete you are. Go into your gratitude. How complete you are. You have what you want, and you want what you have. You are complete. You are an overflow. You're in love with your life. You're in love with your message. You're in love with what you do. What can you give? Where can you be generous? How can you give a gift to somebody? Like bake a cake for a neighbor, which I did that last week too, and it felt really good. I baked a cake for some neighbors. Can you send a postcard to friends? Can you secretly send flowers to a girlfriend? Can you just be, giving some girlfriends compliments? Like if you think of your, 5 closest best girlfriends and just send them a message, be like, hey, you know what? I just want to say I'm so glad that we're friends. And as long as we've been friends, you've always been the one who's like this and this and this in my life. And I just fucking love you. Like, that's all. And they'll be like, oh my God, thank you. So it's not about just circulating money, but it's also about circulating your love. What do you have in overflow? So today, tomorrow, the next day, Lionsgate portal energy. Where are you in overflow? Bring yourself to awareness of your overflow and then pour it out to people. Pay your bills. Make sure all the bills are paid. Make sure all the invoices are paid. Then you're in a state of what I call clean money energy, because you don't need anything. You're good. You're complete. That's magnetic. If we're like putting pressure on people, like, hey, it's Lionsgate portal, you better shop with me. You better go into my store, you better buy something. That's not a magnetic energy. That's like, why are you weird? Like, clicking away, right? So first, get yourself into that gratitude, get yourself into that overflow, get yourself into that generosity, get all your money ducks in a row. Just go through and make sure, like, look at your spreadsheets. Do you have a spreadsheet? If not, make a spreadsheet. Like, is there something that you want to buy yourself that you haven't bought because you're like, I shouldn't spend money. Like there's a dress, you guys know that I love the silk. Everything, the whole Currency Current, all I'm wearing is silk, okay? This is teal, I don't know if you can see it. I love this color. I just found out that they have a dress in this color. And I'm like, I wanna buy myself that dress. I'm just gonna buy myself that dress. Do I need it? No. Do I love it? Yes. So I'm probably gonna buy it for myself because that gives a signal I get to have what I want. So then from that space, that kind of energy, absolutely get creative. What's your business here for? It's here to make an impact on people's lives with your service, to change people's lives for the better, and it's to make money. That's what your business is for, right? And as a woman, you deserve to live well. You deserve to live a soft life. You should have money. That's a good should. You should have money. You should have a soft life. If you're a healer, if you're a leader, if you're a coach, if you're a teacher, the more at peace that you are, the greater the frequency of your voice and your gift. When we're stressing about money things, our voice, it's hard for our voice to be as loud and reach as far, because we're spending a lot of energy here. So I want you to remember that you deserve to make money. You deserve to receive a lot of money. Yes, you do. You have a business. Don't be shy about that. Business is to make money. It's not a hobby. So then, after these gratitude practices, after filling your cup, if you get an inspiration for some offers, if there's something that you can give away, is there a freebie that you can give away? Is there a way that you can be generous to your followers and your audience? I'm still thinking about that. I think I'm going to make something available for free tomorrow, I believe, that I have never done before, but it just feels really good. Like, I'm very happy. I'm happy to do that. Is there something that you can give away to your audience for free? Just for fun, to be generous? And then absolutely, with no strings attached, make some offers. Just be like, if you've been wanting to work with me, here are ways that you can work with me. And it's totally okay if they are offers with some urgency. If they're like, available for the next 48 hours. And normally it's this, but it's this right now. That's super fun. If that feels good to you, totally do that. Or list what your normal prices are, but definitely post things. Somebody in here is doing an 8-month offer. I know that. I think there are things in the chat. You have a freebie idea. I love that. Good, Adria. So do that. Okay, so those, so you're co-creating. You are an overflow. You are grateful. You are a frequency match for money because you are complete, but you're also, your solar plexus is activated because you're like, I deserve to be seen. I like myself. I like what I do. I'm happy to be loud about it. And yes, I'm happy to be paid for it because what I do is amazing. So yeah, that's the energy that I wanted to share as we go into this call and for the Lionsgate portal. So everybody, I don't like it when I see people like, okay, now it's my turn to receive. I want to see that loop of giving as well. And I want to see the giving and the receiving from overflow. That's the most magnetic energy. I don't want to see no pressure, right? So that was my rant to begin this amazing conversation today. And now what we're going to do is honestly just pause up, just unmute yourself and just come on in. If you've got burning questions, and put your hand up or don't, just unmute, just talk to me. And we are gonna be able to go for another hour today. So let's get into it, girls. Who wants to go first? Anybody?
I can go first if no one is stepping up. Hello, nice to see you all. So yeah, I have a burning question. Actually, it's about, and I'm not sure how to word the question, so maybe I would just describe, because maybe what I think is the good question is not the right question. So the situation is that I am making these big moves, and I changed everything. I got everything in my offer and all of my websites. I changed it from the tarot reader and single sessions to something greater, a coach. It's across the board. The change is here, and my clients are informed. I felt it's even in integrity to turn some down when they inquired of sessions. I pitched them, they didn't agree, and I'm still okay, but I got a hold. I made a decision, I have to hold. And in this state of I am giving, I feel in integrity. I'm really feeling this is the direction. I have a ton of freebie ideas, another round of free healing sessions, and some PDFs, and so it keeps flowing, but there is no receiving. So it's a free fall, and in this free fall where there's no because I have like my big money shadow is that there is no security, no money. It goes back to like childhood without like getting into details, but it's like I noticed this is I guess a pattern where there is no security, and in this like intense I don't want to say struggle, but in this intense transformation of this pattern of there is not enough and I don't feel safe, how to best keep moving forward with squeaky clean money energy and just keep doing the moves, I guess. Yeah.
Mhm. And can you remind me of your human design generator?
Generator 6-2.
6-2. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you know what your open centers are? Curious.
I will have to pull it up very quickly. I have them very handy. I
Okay.
should be prepared. Open centers are like the blank without not colored.
Open, yeah, white.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. I had them here.
It's interesting because our defined centers are where we really coach from. Like that's where we speak power from our defined centers with clean energy. Our open centers are how we receive, how we feel people, how we intuit people. And it's where we can have even more expanded wisdom after deconditioning those open centers. Our open center, I mean, we can also hold wounds in our open centers.
Okay.
So for example, like open crown people, we can be like, I don't know, but we're getting so much information. And then we have to go to our body and say, okay, I do know. Do you know what your open centers are?
Yes, this is throat.
Okay.
It's white. Ego.
Oh.
Like on the when
Yeah.
you look at it, it's on the right, and then there is solar plexus.
Okay. Ooh, okay.
I have a lot of channels. Like there's a lot of these pipes. A lot of them are colored. I have a lot of those gifts, or how do you call them? Yeah.
Okay, so open throat, open ego, will center, and open emotional center. So with the open ego, and also being a 6-2, so the 2 drives you to be alone to master something, and the 6, which is beautiful, because the 2 gives a big energy of trust, because it's like, she knows, because the 2 loves to be alone to play with her process. The energy of the 6 is, of course, that's the exemplary human, that's the role model human. The 6 embodies the energy of all of the previous lines. But the 6 sometimes is like, but why do we have to use money? But why though? Like, shouldn't humans just share all the money? Shouldn't we just share resources? Like, money is kind of like dirty. Like, money is kind of like low, So the 6 sometimes has to be convinced to come off of her mountain and to teach the people. And that's, I think, why in the currency current as well, it was for you that it was like, be the energy of an Egyptian priestess who gets to be really highly paid just basically to exist. Like people just come and bring you offerings. They just bring you things. You never have to think about food. You never have to think about where you're staying. You never have to think about people just bless you with that so that you can be on your throne and in your vibe and sharing your gifts. So does that feel good to you to imagine that?
Yes, I was actually staying with this a lot after you said this, because it was like in the past where I was very even resistant to gifts. Like, no, don't give me that. Like, I can't ever accept this. It was it has softened, but yeah, I can. This is very relevant. Yes.
Okay, that's good. And okay, when is your birthday? What's your sun, moon, and rising?
It's 2nd October 86, and I am Libra Sun, which is about to have an eclipse on her birthday soon, and I am Virgo rising and Virgo moon.
Okay, so very, very organized, attention for detail, critical, and somewhat indecisive, very, very fair, very loyal. She's a lover. Okay. You have a human design question? Okay, bring it. I'll be excited for your human design question, Simone. Okay, so the open ego center is very much a wounding. When it's open, it can be wounding, and deconditioning is required to own your worth. I'm worthy because I am. So that's a statement I want you to write down. I am worthy, and you can fill in the blank. I am worthy of protection because I am. I am worthy of comfort because I am. I am worthy of peace because I am. I am worthy of receiving 100,000 euros cash because I am. And any one of those kind of statements that feels like that like feels resistance, it's like a deep tissue massage. Then that's the area that you go to massage and be like, okay, why is there resistance around that? This activation is for your solar plexus, the I am. I am because I am. I am because I am. That's very healing for the open ego center.
Mm.
Gift of the open ego center is to very clearly see the worth in others and in other things. So when I have an open will center as well, I have an open ego center as well. I used to really undervalue my work. I really underpriced my work in the first few years of my business. I was overgiving, overdoing, over-delivering way too much. And that also can be reflected in past trauma within my family of like, I lived with, there was abuse in my psychological abuse in my family. There was alcohol abuse with my stepmother. So I was always on eggshells and like, I have to be the good one and I have to make things nice and I come last. If I'm not getting punished, I'm winning. That was how I felt when I was little. So I'm not sure how that resonates with you.
100%.
So the idea of there is no security, I don't know security. Security is unfamiliar to me.
Yes.
Okay, so we did a big thing. I just feel so much emotions. So we did a big thing on money shadow work. But what I'm seeing right now for you is just accepting, because there's a lot of energy that we can put behind us to go, okay, well, why did this happen to me in the past? And why is this wound here? And why is this belief here? And why is this story here? So like, I'm just gonna put my business on hold and I'm just gonna be here like untangling these knots. But that can actually be avoidance for success. Because why? Because we don't feel worthy of money or we don't feel worthy of receiving. So we're like, I'm just gonna distract myself by doing this. I'm gonna do this.
Oh yeah.
Very important, valid work. This is what I've seen. People get lost in shadow work land and they get lost in deciphering the signs and the trauma. But we wanna honor it and we wanna move it forward. And there's a fine balance here. So this is what I would love for you. And this is something that I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing you almost splitting in two and being like, okay, I didn't feel security. No, I didn't have security. That's true. But if I did have security, what would that look like? What would that feel like? And I want you to kind of split a part of yourself into a queen, into an empress, like the Empress tarot card.
Because I wrote an affirmation, it's like a test affirmation. Write something that you never hear, and you just said this.
Well, this is channeling that happens on these calls. My girls know. Yay, I'm glad. But so the Empress, like split yourself into the Empress and just ask, if I did know security, what would I know? What would it look like? And then make it her job. So it's almost like you're role playing, you're becoming her, and then it's not going to slow you down because the wounded inner child, or like the aching heartache part, she's allowed to be there. She doesn't have to change. She doesn't have to grow up. She doesn't have to fix it. She gets to be. She gets to be validated in her experience. But you, the queen, the empress, you get to take her with you and be like, okay, I hear you, I see you, you didn't have security, we didn't have security, that does suck. And you can even write a big letter about how much that sucked. And be like, my fucking car got repossessed and my phone got shut down and I got kicked out of my apartment. Like all these crazy things that happen. I have crazy stories like that too from my past. And then be like, that happened. And now I am available for security. I'm available to feel calm, to know that I always have a buffer of overflow. I am comfortable being responsible. So like the queen, she is comfortable. She receives bills with neutrality. She pays bills with neutrality. She sends invoices and she receives payment with neutrality. And it's all chill. It's very chill. She doesn't avoid. She doesn't overgive. she's a queen for a reason. She's not a wounded princess, right? So for you to split that and to say, if I did know security, what would I know? And then it's like making those micro shifts to act like that. I really believe in dressing the part. That is something, so like I talked about this in Currency Current too, but like give them two very distinct personalities. What does the scared little girl do? So like maybe she complains to her friends or she texts with friends. There's always a secondary benefit. Like when we get to be a victim or we get to be hurt, then like we don't have to do anything and people do it for us, and we don't have to make big decisions because we can't, and I don't have money for that, so I can't, you know. My hands are tied, you know. So there is a secondary benefit that the wounded little girl, yeah, Kayla, for sure. You have a question, we'll tap in, yeah. There is a secondary benefit. So give her a personality, and it's okay to be her sometimes. Have a sick day, have a sad girl day, have a wounded inner child day. You know, do that sometimes. It's beautiful. But then give the Empress a personality too. How does she dress? How does she talk? What does her daily schedule look like? How does she have conversations? You know, and choose who you're being. Does that make sense?
That makes absolutely crazy complete sense, because just yesterday I had a vision of because I feel my next course of action is just to show myself, like to reach people and my voice, and I had like a split second vision. Okay, you do this and you dress up for this, and I'm feeling resistance because so what you're saying is like exactly what I saw. Like you have to dress up and show yourself, because I feel this like my old life, like the old complaining, etc. Like this is not me. Like of course I love my, you know, the support that I got, but it's like it's not resonating. Like the complaints, I don't have anything to complain because I'm going like it's another journey. So it's 100%, yeah.
She's coming with you. So some people who are not into shadow work, they're just like, forget it, you know, just you're going where you're going. But that is betrayal, that is self-abandonment, and it will come back to bite us in the ass at some point. So she gets to come and she gets to show up sometimes. She gets to be heard. It's gonna be hard sometimes. Like, spoiler alert, you guys, like the higher that you get, shit is still gonna happen. You're still gonna be surprised. You're still gonna cry sometimes. It's okay. You build the resilience. I was actually, yeah, I would love to see you showing your face. I would love to see, okay, so with your open throat, you are a voice for amplifying truth and justice for others. You might find it easier to speak not in me, I am statements, opinion statements, but rather speaking in generalities. We all need this. We collectively can feel like this. So my husband has an open throat too, and he's a doctor, right? And he has an open emotional, like you too. So you're very sensitive for feeling the emotions of the collective. And then with your throat, you're here to amplify the voice of truth and justice and overcoming and winning for other people. Mm-hmm. So if you feel pressure, just imagine that you're absorbing the truth that needs to be said for everybody, and it's like, let it speak through you. So it can take pressure off of Adria, but it's rather, I'm speaking on behalf of the collective. And yeah, have an outfit, have an avatar. You know, I love seeing your face. I'm surprised. It's okay. It's a new era. It's now it's the time. And also when people see your face and they hear your voice, it builds a much quicker connection. I'm curious, how many of you would ever have signed up to do anything with me if you never saw my face or heard my voice? Probably not very much, right? Because you have to feel like I'm in a relationship, I know her, I understand her mannerisms, I feel safe with her. So you're gonna feel a massive unlocking. Now you mentioned that you have a lot of freebies, that you're giving a lot of freebies. I wonder, I mean, if you just start to talk with your face, you're probably gonna need to warm up your audience for a little bit by showing up, talking in your stories or showing your face, you know, featuring yourself within your business, showing behind the scenes what you do, sharing your story. Here's why I do what I do. Here's where I came from. Here's where I started. Sharing your background story, build an emotional connection. People cannot buy if they don't feel safe, because our filter brain is too active We need to know that we belong to the same tribe. So we need to let our weirdo self show, and then more people buy. Every one of my clients are weirdos. All of you are fabulous weirdos, and I love you all. We don't do normal here. We do fabulous. So show your face. If you wanted to sell like crazy, I'm very good at this, so you should pay attention. But what could be really cool is if you did like a masterclass live on Instagram, like a free masterclass Instagram live. You can have a whole script, teach them something, give them a deep transformation, and then tell them, even right in that experience, I'm going to be offering you ways to work together. I like to say it at the top of the conversation. I'm not here to bamboozle anybody. I'm like, I'm going to sell you something at the end of this. And if you feel complete, so I like to say at the top, welcome everybody. I'm so excited you're here. We're going to talk about this and this, and we're going to go really deep. Now, if this is really sparking you, at the end of this talk, I'm going to be sharing some exclusive ways to work with me that are only available to the people who are watching this live. They're going to be secret code words, and these are only available for the people who are watching. If you feel complete, then hop off and go with my blessing, because you're going to be a master at this subject by the end of this. If you're curious about how we can work together, stick around until the end and I'll share with you. And then have like 3 different options, like, you know, at each different tier, like low ticket, mid tier, high ticket. And you'd be amazed. I have sold hundreds of thousands of dollars on Instagram lives from hotel rooms, spontaneously going live. That's me where I am now, but even years ago, I had like 20,000 or 25,000 in sales just from a masterclass live on Instagram doing that, exactly what I said. So if you do that, how does the little girl in you feel about that?
She's feeling a little bit scared because it's been a journey of visibility for me. Like I've been intentionally showing the little reels behind the filters. So it's like to warm myself up, but she's also feeling very excited to do something new and fun, like the full energy.
Yes, amazing. So then let the Empress take her hand and be like, we're going together. It's okay. We're going at our own pace. I'm an entrepreneur. We can do it however we want, whenever we want. But like, wouldn't it be cool to have 10K come in? Yeah, that would be pretty cool. And then like, what stories wouldn't be true anymore? That's another block money thing. What stories would you no longer benefit from when you have the security? Because then like, no more crybaby, no more reason, you know? So you have to kind of grieve those stories to go where you're going, yeah?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, drop your handle in, drop it in. Okay. So this is really exciting, Adria. Thank you so much for sharing. And don't worry, you guys, no time pressure. We're gonna go as long as we go. I have no other calls today.
Thank you so much for this. It was amazing. I'm gonna listen to this.
I'm so happy. Okay, I think whoever wants to go next, Simone, do you want to pop in with your human design question? Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So good to be here. Um, so I am a generator, right? And I'm a 4/6 generator, and I feel like my whole life I've just been generating and like doing everything all at the same time. And I'm so excited that I've found my, image consulting business, and I'm passionate and I'm, doing all the things, but I'm also still working my 9 to 5
Mhm.
and having like, all these wonderful, beautiful explosions with family and relationship and moving and changes, like everything all at the same time. And I think I am like veering off into like generator burnout, where I'm
I
just
just wrote down burnout.
ooh, like just
Yeah,
like and when I get this feeling of overwhelm, like it just pours out in tears, like just I don't even know if there's a particular reason why I'm physically upset, but it's just so much sometimes. So I think I'm just needing help, balancing with the change and taking on new things, and also like I don't know, just learning how to not overdo it.
Okay. Okay. So a 4/6 is very cool. Well, I mean, they're all cool, but I love to nerd out on all of them. But as a 4/6 profile, it's very interesting because your karma, your mission, it's transpersonal. Your mission is about the collective. So lines 1, 2, and 3 are the inner world. It's about me, right? It's about our journey. Lines 4, 5, and 6 are transpersonal. They're about others. They're about the collective. The energy of the 4 is the networker, the teacher, the opportunist. She is one to bring people together. So I see how you love your group experiences. She is one to bring people together. When people are in the energy before, they feel like they're the only one in the world, like that Rihanna song. Like they feel, so it's very intimate. It's an amazing networking energy. And then the 6, again, it's the role model. She embodies the energy of the leadership of the 5, the teaching and the community cultivation of the 4, the adventure, risk-taking of the 3, the mastery and the tinkering of the 2, and the curiosity of the 1. The 6 embodies all of those energies. And so she's like levitating and floating on top of a mountain, and she's like, I have seen it all, and I know it all, and it is wonderful, and it is good. But both of these lines really need to have a lot of alone time. They need to have a lot of alone time. And when you're working your 9 to 5, and you're also pouring so much into your business, where is the overflow that's left just for Simone? So how are you with, so, and then there is going to be a tipping point when, of course, the 9 to 5 has to go, and you're all in with the business, and that can be an edgy, tricky thing as well, because the 4, I'm a 1-4, so I know the 4 very well. So the 4 is very loyal, and she does not want to move until she knows what's on the other side. So she's a long-term relationship kind of girl. She doesn't really like change. Like the 4 and the 6, neither of these lines really like change so much. And then it can brew as a lot of inner frustration, especially for a generator. The reason that it probably erupts into tears is because, of course, the sacral it's a motor center, so it moves us. And it's very primal. It moves us forward with pleasure, and it pulls us back with frustration, sadness, anger. So it's like it makes us shrink and collapse, and like, you know, and that could be into a ball of fury, or it could be in a ball of sadness, but it just slows us down, really drains us when we're not feeling it, and it really moves us forward with a lot of passion when we're going forward. So I think it's a beautiful thing that you let yourself cry, that you're not bottling it up. That's an important thing. So my first question is, how are you, okay, people pleasing, boundaries, how do you relate to those words?
I mean, it's always been like a mechanism for self-protection, that people pleasing, you know, I'll just do whatever to not rock the boat because it's easier this way. I think sometimes I try to just do whatever is expected because I don't want to either create more friction, more work for myself. It's like, okay, I'll just do it that way and keep the peace.
Mm-hmm.
But lately I've, you know, kind of been contemplating more on boundaries and not people pleasing, even just speaking up when I need something or I need time to myself. But you know, it's just such a conditioned thing from when I was younger. Just, you know, just make it easy, like just do it and be done with it. And then I'll go and like have time to myself to like do what I really want to do. But now there's less time for myself. So now it's like,
You'd have to get up really early, or you'd have to stay up late to have alone time. Do you mind if I ask as well, beautiful, how old you are? I'm just wondering where your Saturn return is.
it's right now.
Oh, okay. So that makes
Like
sense.
literally, I've also been tinkering on the Saturn return the past week because I'm like, okay, it's happening, and the actual date is March 25th, 2025. So
Okay, so the 6 until the Saturn return, so until you're around 32-ish, and of course there can be some wiggle room in both directions there, but until then, the 6 behaves as a double 3. The 3 is the energy of, I like to describe it as Indiana Jones going, or like Lara Croft. Let's do Lara Croft. Okay, it's the energy of Lara Croft going into the jungle with nothing but a machete, 1 grenade, and a half-empty water bottle. And she's like, I'm fucking doing this. I'm doing this, and I will see you guys on the other side. And what does she look like on the other side? She got all the jewels, and she got all of the loot, but she's covered in scratches, That water bottle is gone, and she's but how do we feel when we see her? Well, God damn, I respect you. And she's like, it was hard. Like there were tigers and there were fucking bats, and I had to beat up a bunch of guys. But you know what I learned? I learned how to climb a mountain because I fucking had to. And I learned how to dive off a waterfall because I fucking had to. And so how do we feel about the three when she's come out of the jungle? We're like, God damn, do I respect you? And I trust you. I trust you because you've been there and you've done that and you know. So you're very magnetic. It's very strong leadership energy because people are like, well, she did it herself. But that's what leads you to the wisdom of that 6, okay? Of being the full 6. But right now, you're in the hardcore lesson learning phase. So it can feel like a lot of karmic lessons are landing all at once. Where I can give you some peace is to know you are exactly where you're meant to be right now. All of this is exactly, even in the frustration, because frustration is a pressure cooker. It's so gross. It's like popping a pimple. That's the vision that I just got. Thank you. It's like popping a pimple where it's like, it's finally time for this to be released, because pain is a great motivator. We can be motivated by pleasure, but sometimes life has to get very painful in order for us to move, in order for us to evolve. So you're exactly where you're meant to be. Even here right now, having this conversation, being confronted with this idea of people pleasing and boundary setting and burnout, and just having that permission, having another person validate and tell you, you are not supposed to go on like this. Something does have to change. You are allowed, and it is good, and you get to. And setting boundaries, explaining to other people, no, you don't have to explain, informing people of your availability, of your needs. This is the curse of the generator, okay? Because the generator, they are the architects of this earth. Everything we have is because of generators. But generators, because they have that ever-present energy source, consistent energy battery that's there, other people can use them unintentionally. It's like, oh, well, she can, so she will, so I'll let her. So boundaries for generators to protect your mission. Like, let's just say if you're a bright shining light and then I put a basket on top of you that has many, many, many holes, I'm like, well, yeah, but now your light is getting projected into 100 different places. Isn't that a good thing? But you're like, yeah, but I want to shine my light in that direction. And if I say no and I block all of these other holes, I get to really focus on my direction and my mission. And I get to do that. My light isn't to be dispersed to make all of your lives easier, because I have a gift inside me. My gift makes a big impact for the collective. That's important. I'm going to protect my light because of that. It's important. So setting boundaries with people is loving because it's intimacy, and it's showing people, hi Kayla, it's showing people who you really are. Whereas when we're in people-pleasing mode, it's very, very lonely for us, and nobody really knows us because we're always playing it safe. So they are getting a fake or two-dimensional version of us, and we are actually terribly lonely even though we're with people all the time, because nobody really knows us. Nobody really knows our needs. Nobody really knows our heart. So how does that feel for you before I go on?
I mean, it feels extremely accurate. It also feels scary to do those things. Like it feels like my entire way of being is being torn to shreds. And I want to go in that direction. I want to be that person at work that just like says what they need and they get the help they ask for. And I don't know, sometimes I just feel like I don't get to have that support or that tenderness, or like, that's not for me, that's for other people type of thing. And then I see other people getting it around me. And I try to like use that proof point of like, okay, like it can happen for them, it can happen for you. But it's also that feeling of like, if I ask for help, then I'm incompetent and people are going to think I don't know what I'm doing, or I can't run my own show, which is why sometimes like I just love being in my business because I can just do whatever I want and no one's like, involved. So I just feel like it's scary, and I don't know. I think I know how to do that step, but I'm very worried about the perception or, you know, just the outcomes of that?
So where do I want to see it first? So first, like, that's for other people, that's not for me. That's one thing to talk about and to address, is like, why not? And I call this lawyering up for ourselves. Like, can you prove that in a court of law? Can you prove to me, without any doubt, in a court of law, that you, specifically you, don't get to be supported? You specifically are not worthy. And really asking yourself that and be like, okay, is that true? Or is that a program that I received in childhood because XYZ, because my caregivers had all this other stuff going on, and maybe you witnessed other people who were being a lot for them to handle, and so you're like, well, I'm going to be more loving, and I'm not going to have any needs because then I'm a good daughter and I'm not giving them any extra work, but so therefore I don't take up space because I don't want to be more.
Yeah.
So now this is where we would do like a quantum time healing, and like I could even refer you to a healer that I have worked with. She's brilliant. She's really lovely, and she could do something with you called soul retrieval. So I'll send you that on Instagram. This it's just an idea, but when you do like a quantum time healing for the past self, it's like going back to her and just being like, you didn't ask to be born. It wasn't your choice to be born. They chose to be parents. Every single baby comes into this world perfect and knowing it is worthy and deserving of love. It cries. The babies will pee and poop in their pants, knowing somebody else will clean it up. They cry when they're hungry. They cry when they're cold, with full expectation that somebody is going to come and tend to them. And then it's only when we get into being toddlers and to being, younger children, and we're going into school, that we then learn, oh, my needs aren't being met anymore. Or now, when we're like 2-3 years old, we have the cognitive awareness to notice the emotional reactions. We can feel the rejection of the caregivers who are like, if they're like exasperated that they have to take care of us, pick us up from school on time, like, you have to have breakfast, that's such a pain. So we learn that and we internalize that when we're little. So you gotta go back to that time. So there's like in the Elite Boundaries program that I'm gonna be doing, I think soon. I feel like we all need it, but I call it like inner child healing, but it's like inner child work with hugs. So I could recommend to you a practice, bring, like we were saying with Adria, bring an Empress Queen energy kind of version of yourself, or somebody that you feel is a safe person. And if you go kind of into quiet meditation, picture yourself as young as you can, the youngest memory that you have of being disregarded, overlooked, or being told straight up that you're too much work, or like, oh, you're such a pain in the ass, or like whatever the feeling was. I'm so sorry that that is an experience that you had. I'm so sorry. I just want to say right now how sorry I am, because no child deserves that. That had nothing to do with you, nothing at all. That had and has nothing to do with you. And so if you can think of the earliest memory you have of that, of feeling like nobody cares about me, nobody sees me, it's not safe, I'll just get yelled at, or nobody will listen, and that's even worse. If you can go back to that point in time, bring your highest self, or bring a hero, bring a safe person, bring a version of yourself. I like the buddy system for these kind of things, so that there are two of you. One, you, in your vision, you go and hold the little girl version of you. You kind of like clap your hands, freeze the scene, and just go hug her and hold her and tell her everything that she needed to know. And just be like, I'm so sorry that this is happening. You don't deserve this. You never deserve this. This is not about you, it's about them. And you shouldn't be hearing this right now. And I love you so much. You are so important and you are so loved. And I am always going to take care of you. And then in the buddy system version of this, that might be enough. The buddy system, you can have your safe person or your highest self yell at the person or the caregivers or whoever is being not nice to the little version of you. I've done this and it was extremely powerful. Even clients of mine who had violent trauma in their childhoods did this and they healed from it and they never looked back and started multiple businesses. So you can just raise hell with them and be like, what the fuck is the matter with you? Like, say everything that you needed to say. Be like, who treats a kid like this? Like, go get therapy, go get help for yourself. Don't do this to her. Like, slap them if you want to. And then have this vision and then be like, okay, what's next? So like when she is fulfilled, where are you bringing her to? Where is her heaven on earth that you're bringing her to? And then she's coming with you. Be like, you know where we're going? We're going to the Four Seasons in Maui. You know where we're going? We're going here. Or we're going to my apartment. And bring her back to your house where you live and be like, I have a safe space for you. I have a space where you always get everything that you need. I have a space where you're never ignored. And I have a space where you are always number one. And you're coming there with me now. Do you want to come with me? And then she's gonna say yes. And then she might even cry. And that's amazing. If you cry, let it pour. And then you bring her with you. And you let there be an inner marriage where she comes with you. And now this is a beautiful thing. We can reparent ourselves. Like, I never had a father figure. That's something that I realize now. My father's alive, but I actually never had a father figure. And I'm grieving that. Even though I'm 40, I'm grieving that now, and that's okay. But we can reparent ourselves. So when you bring little Simone with you, and she's with you, I have a picture of myself as a baby on that bookshelf. So I walk past every day, and I'm like, I'm doing it for her. So I stand up for myself because I'm standing up for her. If somebody didn't stand up for her, I'm standing up for her today. That's my job. So that gives a different perspective to the worthiness, the deservingness. It gives a different perspective to the people pleasing, don't rock the boat, do what's expected. Because as you can see, that's like wounded little girl Simone, and that's like teenager Simone, but that's not Queen CEO Simone. So we don't want her to drive the ship. We want the Queen CEO to drive the ship. So then this is where I might challenge you, because we all have kind of an archetype in mind of what a CEO queen is. So we don't want to be an asshole. So I might ask you to think about, there are two extremes. There's people pleasing, and then you're the one who's getting burnt out. You're the one who's not having the energy to just honestly chill and relax and then have the clarity to move forward with your goals. And lonely because people don't really know you, and a lot of frustration inside. So the version of you that they're getting is like simmering with rage, but they just don't know it. And then the other extreme is like, she's a bitch, she's rude, people don't like her, she's alone too because she's so mean. Like, the fear of being too much is the fear of being alone. Like, I'm gonna be so mean to people that they're all gonna abandon me, that I'm gonna be alone anyway. I would rather have people with me, even if I'm furious, than be alone. But then I would invite you to find, where's the middle ground? Because the queen version of you, she can be a benevolent queen. She can be kind, and she can be lovely, but she can be clear and intentional and direct in a very loving way. And what that kind of looks like with boundaries is be like, hey, like, do you mind if I talk to you for a second? There's something on my mind that I'd really love to share with you, because our relationship is so important to me, and I know that you care about me, and I care about you so much too. But here's something that I've seen happen, and I notice I react this way. So when you ask me to do something, I notice that I react like this. But the thing is, I notice how exhausted I am, and I notice that I really crave like more time on my own, or like you don't even need to give excuses and reasons, but just be like, so, I wanted to share this with you because our relationship is so important to me. But if, going forward from here, it would be so great if we could just not do this anymore in this way. I would appreciate it so much. And they're gonna be like, oh my God, thank you so much for telling me. I had no idea, and they'll be like, thank you. And that's intimacy. It brings people closer. That's one version of kind of informing people, setting boundaries. Another way is to just not be available So I call this one removing the pleasure of your company. You can just not be available. To be like, oh, I wish I could, but unfortunately I can't. I just don't have availability for that right now. And you can just say no.
That part's easy for me. It's more like the tough conversations. And then it's like, okay, it's almost like a can of worms where if I open it, then I might just like fly off the handle because I am simmering. And so, just I don't know, not letting it get to that point to be where it's like, okay, if I open my mouth, it's gonna be messy.
Yeah, and I understand, yes. So we want to bring you from simmering to celebration, which is a great name for a masterclass. Steal it, anybody. Simmering to celebration, that's where we want you to be. So this is all inner work for you. So you're gonna honor the rage. Even, oh my gosh, there's so many books that I could recommend to you. There's a book called, maybe I'll drop them into the Facebook group. There's a book called Feeding Our Demons or something like that. And it's an ancient Buddhist shadow work technique where we actually let the anger, the fear, we actually let it become huge and personified, and then we actually like let it be fed from our own bodies until it's satisfied. And then when it's satisfied, then it becomes our greatest strength and it becomes our greatest protector. That's really interesting. And with you, I was just feeling something like blue and spiky. And then when I imagined it becoming your greatest gift, I saw like a woman just made of gold. And then it becomes your greatest strength, and your greatest ally. So I'll drop some books into the Facebook group maybe and just recommend. But where you can get to celebration is the joy. Okay, what if I told you that I was taking you to the French Riviera tomorrow? All expense paid, like 2 weeks.
Come to
You would be happy, right? Be like, that's where I'm going. It's like, just pack your bag, the tickets in your email, like get it, So where you're going, where the queen lives, the queen in you, the 4-6 generator, business owner, entrepreneur, she's known in her city, she is known in circles, people recommend her. That happens for the 4s very much. Referrals are huge for the 4s. She's the one, right? And she's the queen, she has her refuge, her accounts look great. The queen rests on her chaise lounge when she's chilling, and she has absolute freedom, and it's very chill. Like, picture where you're going. That's why you're gonna do what you're doing. Because especially now at this age, where we are in this time portal right now, all that stuff, it's not coming with you. And that's exactly why you're here right now. That stuff is not coming with you. And who is coming with you is the perfect, beautiful, innocent, lovely, compassionate, fiery little Simone. She's coming with you. Before she was hurt, before she learned that she had to be quiet and just be nice and put a smile on her face and be the good girl, before that happened, maybe this is 2 or 3 years old, she is coming with you, and you're building a nest for her in your queendom. And then, so what can help to get over the shit show? Because sometimes you gotta, when you're when you want to clear out a pond, who clears out ponds? I don't know, but like you stir it up and it's gonna get really muddy before it can get clear. So yeah, you do have to do that, but you're going somewhere that's so worth it. And to have it all, it has to make that choice. You have to make that choice. And I would say too, when it comes to people pleasing, there can be a lot of catastrophizing, where before you've even said anything, you're like, it's gonna be the worst, they're gonna say this, they're gonna do this, or like your mind can race. Does that happen to you sometimes?
It's very quiet, but yes. And then I feel like that's the only reality.
Okay, so you go 10 steps ahead of like all the bad things that could happen, and then probably you have a contingency plan of like how you're gonna be okay, how you're gonna cope anyways, and then you kind of talk yourself out of it. So much energy being spent there. So when that happens, this is a new muscle that you're gonna flex, is the what if muscle. Be like, okay, so that's automatic, and you said that it's quiet, so I want you to pay attention to it and actually let the story be loud, because you're so used to it, you're so conditioned with it. So let the story be loud and be like, okay, if I say no to this, and you're gonna feel the frustration of like, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Like, and it's like, but you feel like you have to. Don't feel bad. I moved us into this penthouse by myself with a team of German moving men. I broke every single nail. My injured knee was throbbing in pain. I was crying. I didn't say no. I didn't say I needed more help. My husband was working all the time. Me and a toddler, just having had cancer surgery, I fucking did it by myself because I didn't want to ask for help. And my body was punished. I was in so much pain. You know how I love my long nails. Every one of them broke, Simone. I was so mad. So it's not worth it. So you are going to feel that anger. You're going to have the story of everything that can go wrong. And then you're going to write a story. What could go right? What would be the heaven on earth outcome? And I want you to spend more time there, even if you feel silly. If you're like, well, the heaven on earth outcome is that they tell me, well, actually, I'm so glad you said no because I didn't want to do it anyway. And I said to myself, if she says no, then I get to say no. So thank God you said no. Should we do this instead? And then you're like, yeah, we should. That's awesome. Like, so what would be a heaven on earth outcome? And you're going to cast threads out into the universe of that outcome. And then you're not going to gaslight yourself. You're say, yes, it's possible. Schrodinger's cat, right? The cat is alive and dead at the same time, quantum time. So yes, it could go like that, and it also could go like this, or like this, or like this. And you're going to think of these different possible positive outcomes. This is 5D study. I have received or allowed the most wild, miraculous realities by doing this practice I just described to you. Outcomes that don't make any sense, any linear sense to anybody. So that's how you're gonna treat yourself. I want you to go from simmering to celebration in your mind. Practice. Okay, so from the human design perspective, your no is attached to an energetic yes. So you don't need to be afraid of no, because no means that there's a better yes for you somewhere. And there's a better yes for that person. So, for example, me refusing to ask for help, forcing myself to do the moving, do I look like I'm made for labor? I am not made for manual labor. It was a mistake. So it would have been way easier on my marriage if I just would have asked my husband, because instead he had to deal with me being super mad at him for weeks, but actually I'm the one who didn't ask for help. So your no is the correct no for everybody in that situation. If people are leaning on your energetic heavy lifting, it means that they're still driving a bike with training wheels. They're still swimming with water wings because they don't have to get stronger because they're riding on your back. And that's not what's going to serve them for the long run in life either. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Like it's all kind of interconnected.
It is. I mean, I know that I can sense that there's so much more and that we could go so much deeper. We can talk, I mean, if you ever want to have like a single call or something, we can always do that. But okay, I'm going to recommend some books too. How do you feel? I know it's a lot. How do you feel?
I mean, it's just so accurate, right? And I like the part about you saying letting the catastrophizing kind of bubble up so that I can feel through that and then let it be loud and think of other outcomes, because I think I tend to skip that part. But just in general, just a lot happening. So I would love the recommendations for the books and things just to like get through this particular, explosion in my life.
I think that accountability can be a really good thing too. So if you have girlfriends or if there are people like, it helps me like to be brave. Sometimes I imagine somebody's holding my hand, like I have to be brave too sometimes and say the thing. Like I learned a lot of people pleasing in my childhood too, and even in my young adult life. But accountability of like, just imagine how proud you're gonna be and how big people who love you are gonna celebrate with you and how good you're gonna feel. So when you do the thing, so expecting that, and if you tell a girlfriend, be like, I'm doing it today, even if it's just like, start small, right? Especially if you say that life is blowing up so much already, start small. If you just be like, today I'm gonna listen to my body. It's early, it's morning for you, so you can say, I'm gonna listen to my body today, and when I feel a big no, I'm gonna take some time to myself, and I'm gonna think and feel into how I can honor that no. And I'm open to the universe showing me I am not in this alone. I am open to intuition. I am open to guidance. I am open to be so supported. I have made, remember, I think in Currency Current I said make a demand of the universe. So you can make a demand of the universe, be like, I want to honor my body wisdom, and I'm going to, but I demand help. So the right people, the right opportunity, the right place, and the right time, and the right words to say, thank you very much. And you're gonna just say no at least one time today. Because the other side of the no is the big yes, a flood of satisfaction, a flood of joy, a flood of pleasure. And here's another thing. I see this in my head right now. You are carrying so much in your arms, but you also want to reach out and take what you want. But you can't have both. You can't carry everything for everybody. You can't carry this emotional baggage. You can't carry all these expectations and grow a third arm to grab the other thing that you want. And it's a lesson, putting it down, then you can have what you want. And then people actually are gonna learn more from you. They're actually gonna receive more from you the less you're carrying for them. You being in your light is actually the biggest gift of love that you can give them, rather than keeping their training wheels on. Does that make sense? I see things, I get very specific metaphors that come through. Okay. It's a lot.
Thank you.
It's a lot. So I'm gonna message you some recommendations and stuff, because it's a journey, it's a lifestyle and a journey, but it's worth it, and you are worth it, and where you're going is worth it. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. I have to jump, but this was amazing. See you online.
Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you online. Okay. Kayla, so relatable. Kayla, do you want to ask your human design question, beautiful?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. That was wildly relatable in so many ways. But yeah, so okay. So I'm a Manny Gen 5-1, and then open roots, open solar plexus. But okay. Currency Current has been such a whirlwind. I even just the timing of all of this happening for me and all that sort of thing. Like I had to go and do replays for our second week and all that sort of thing, just because I was traveling through literally like an old growth forest and found like the most peaceful place on earth, I'm pretty sure. But so yeah, I was kind of going through that and getting to just go and be with my fiance and be just, surrounded in love and peace and joy and all this amazing kind of energy. So I think the timing of all of this it just kind of supercharged everything. And now I'm actually doing Currency Current again. So I'm doubling down because it is going so well. So yes, it has been magnificent. So I apologize to everyone if I've been quiet. It's just I have been working hard on this. Like I've been putting in so much of this. And even just like I think the people around me, it's like they're noticing things, and like just from being kind of around and talking to me, like everyone is like receiving and getting these crazy opportunities and stuff like that. But so with all of this incredible movement, I've been, diving deep into more shadow work. You and I had a really incredible call prior to all of this, and I was really diving into all of that. So that's been great. But I think what I have noticed big time is not just receiving like wealth and abundance and gifts and different things. Like I'm getting married in November, and suddenly like Currency Current happened, and everyone was like, I don't know if you care, but I want to give you your wedding gift early. I don't know why, but everyone was just like, sure, let's do that. So awesome. I'm like, great, this can help pay for the wedding. But yeah, so awesome things. But alongside of this, I think opportunities have been, it has been a flood of opportunities, which has been magnificent. But I think you also know, I've been working on, my sacred no,
Yes.
and feeling out the things that feel good for me,
Yes.
and the things that aren't for me. So I've been really good at that. You'd be so proud of me. But with these opportunities, there have been things that do feel like a serious yes that were not in the cards that are now coming to me. And one opportunity in particular, like I can talk to you about later, but is pretty pretty massive and life changing. And my fiance and I are kind of like, what do we do? We're both just like, it feels like like a yes, like I feel like this is what I need to do, but it's also absolutely terrifying. And it's kind of like, this is not what I saw happening for me or for this year or for like, it's just it's a left field kind of
Okay.
thing. Yeah, so I think there's, obviously being who I am in my human design, I know now that I can juggle all the things. I like to do all the things. I'm good at being able to do all the things, right? This I kind of, you know, this was something that I feel like has been that double life thing of mine for a very, very long time. So I haven't really touched it. It's been over here, and I've kind of just been like, please go away. But now I have this opportunity about it that feels like it would be more authentic of me to take this opportunity and run with it and see what happens and just like let the universe like do what it does. But on the same token, it is completely terrifying. And there's just been so many other opportunities alongside it. Yeah,
Okay.
it's been crazy.
So fear and excitement are
Mhm.
best friends. They're cousins.
Yeah.
There's cousins. They're twins. So fear can be excitement. Excitement can read as fear, right? So when it feels like a big yes, but then you say, but it's terrifying, then this is where there's a part of us who craves stability and a part of us who craves control. And especially when we have had lives with a lot of disruption in the past, and we felt like we didn't have control sometimes, we crave control. And
Yeah.
that can sometimes shit on the miracles because our human is like, cool, but I need to see a spreadsheet for this first, and I need to see items 1 through X and da da da. And then the universe is like, I'm giving it to you right now. And you're like, yeah, but I need control. So I would say honor that part and just be like, what? And like, so just pull it apart a little bit more and be like, what does this remind me of? This feeling of terror. When you say it's terrifying, does that mean it's terrifying exciting? Why is it terrifying? Is it terrifying because it's going fast? Then that makes me wonder, are people putting time pressure on you and saying that there's a window for this and we're only going to make this available for the. Now, if that's the case, then I'm saying, okay, why are they doing it like that? Is there a motive here? So I would pull apart the details a little bit and then see, is terrifying still the word that I would use? Or is the word more overwhelmed or confused, or you know what I mean? Or like, I need more information. So
I think, yeah, that makes sense, because I do feel like, so time frame, I mean, this is apparently surrounding me. So it's kind of like this is like an open opportunity for me. But and it is something that feels like, as I said, like that, yes, it's like, okay, finally, like part of me was like a little bit relieved that this opportunity presented itself. But on the same token, I was like, oh my gosh, but I already have so many things. How am I going to do this too? And what does that mean for me? Who does that make me in like a year from now? Like, who is that person and all that sort of thing? So I think part of me is kind of trying to detangle like what this is going to look like. So yeah, it is a little bit of like, I have so many opportunities. I'm working on so many things right now as it is. And so I think maybe the word is a little bit more overwhelmed for sure.
So then
Yeah.
when that's amazing, and that's wonderful to know. So then it can be like, this is what I call finding the yes. So like it's a yes and it's a yes and situation. So, and you're a manifesting generator. So you are built to be multifaceted. You are not built to be niched down, put into a box. You never have to ever present the image of only one thing to the world ever. Like you can own, and it feels energetically liberating and correct for you to be like, surprise bitches, I'm very complicated. And I actually do this and this and this too. And I love that about myself. And like it's liberating for you, because if you're ever thinking like, if I show all of my multifaceted, very diverse skills and hobbies and interests and parts of me, if I'm afraid to show that, that means that I think people are going to reject me, that's going to affect my income, or it's going to affect my status or something like that. That's based on fear, where the motivation needs to be based on self-love, self-acceptance. And guess what? I'm a fucking weirdo. Guess what? I can do all of these cool things. Guess what? And then actually what that does is it amplifies the power of your heart. It amplifies the power of your influence. We talked about the solar plexus earlier. It blasts out your solar plexus. It actually makes you be able to charge more money, call the shots, even more magnetic. There's repellent marketing and there's magnetic marketing. You being your full, complicated, incredible, diverse self is catnip to the right people, the right opportunities, the right place, the right time. And it's repellent to people who'd be like, oh, well, we just expected you to be like this and this, and you're not playing nice now. Like you're shaking things up. Well, they can go fuck themselves, because you're not here to be put in a box. So I would say allow, embrace, open, and then you simply go, and here's what my timetable looks like. Because like we were talking with Simone, it's easier for everybody when we give them exactly what the fuck they want, when they want it. Then it's like, okay, like you said you need it by tomorrow, so I'm gonna stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning and only sleep for 3 hours. Yeah, then they're happy, but now you're having a terrible day, your fiance is feeling your anger, your cats are sad, and your skin is shitty. And, you know, so no, no, you don't have to do that. So you say, okay, this is a yes for me. This is what my timetable looks like. I won't even be able to touch this until after my wedding. Or I can do da-da-da before my wedding, but then you're not even gonna hear from me again until like December. So when this can be a 2025 thing, like we can get details rolled out, but then I'm not gonna be available to actively do anything with this. We can, like, I'll sign stuff, but FYI, here's my timetable, here's my schedule. And then they can take it or leave it, basically. Or they can offer help and be like, okay, well, actually, you know, what we need from you is actually just this 20%, and we have people who can do all of this other stuff for you. They'd be like, oh, okay, well, I mean, yeah, if you can give me more support, then for sure. But that's following the yes, like a heat-seeking missile. So like, it's a yes, but not like this. And it's a yes, but not like that. So you keep your yes and like, do you know what I mean? And it's like permission to be selfish, permission to follow the fun. And I would just say, being mindful of the way that you're labeling it. Is it like, it's terrifying? Okay, it's not terrifying. What it is I really like it. I just need more information, and I need to decide exactly how I want this to be for me. So you get to be selfish. Selfish is a word I keep hearing in my head for you right now. Selfish. You get to be selfish.
Yeah, and I mean, that sounds good. That's, yeah, exactly what I feel like I kind of need to bear in mind and all that sort of thing. And I think what kind of went through my head was that because I like doing all the things, and because yes, I'm like the weirdo and I have so many things, and I don't fit into like one box and all that sort of thing, I am trying my best at this point and doing all of this work to kind of just open up and be me. And I think that this is that step in doing that. This is like opening all of that up. But I guess, yeah, like I guess in my head, I was kind of going, yes, but can I do it all? How do I, how do I monetize all of this? How do I, like, what does that look like for me now? If this is how things are going to play out in, my timeline and all that sort of thing. By 2025, like how am I going to present this per se, right? And how is this all like going to make sense when I do have like kind of this weird versatility and all that sort of thing? Yeah, it's just kind of that is what I'm trying to piece together alongside I think just in my head being like making sure that I'm not saying yes to opportunities that don't feel good to me and all that sort of thing. And making sure that, you know, like, is this a real yes and all that sort of thing. So for me, it was feeling like a serious yes.
Okay.
And
And
not
you have-
wanting to like confuse them.
your solar plexus is open, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that means that you don't have an emotional wave. So as a manifesting generator, like I have a defined emotional, which means I have to listen to two things. I listen to my
Yeah.
saying yes or no, but then I also have the emotional wave to contend with that
Yeah.
is decision making. But when your open emotional center is clear, then the voice that speaks to you, the intuition that speaks to you, defined spleen. Do you have a defined spleen?
Yes, I think everything is defined aside from my root and solar plexus.
Okay. So then the spleen is intuition of like, is this safe or not safe?
Mhm.
And it's a very fast voice. And
Yeah.
and then the sacral, but then the spleen can cause second guessing. And when you have
Yeah.
a defined crown and third eye, that also can be like overthinky, second guessy.
That's
Which is beautiful and it's fine. It's wonderful. There's a lot of innate wisdom. But the center that you always want to bring it back to make the decision is the sacral. Because the spleen can race thoughts up to the mind and like overthink the shit out of it. And then you're like, well, now I don't know. And the thing is, with the with the sacral, it's always going to be a 70%, 80% yes. It's almost never going to be 100% yes. But then we have to be willing to have that adventure. We have to be willing to move. And the more that we do it, like I said, this heat-seeking missile, the more that we do it, the more that the universe rewards us by putting us in the right place at the right time with the right people, even if it gives us opportunities for growth and expansion by like, oh shit, now I have to say no to something, or oh no, now I need to renegotiate something. But guess what? That's big boss energy. That's big CEO energy, you know? So it's, I would say, again, like what I said to Simone, of the heaven on earth outcome. What's the heaven on earth outcome? So if Queen Kayla gets to have exactly what she wants, what is the heaven on earth outcome for her? That like, I get this, and I get this, I get this, no, 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 yes, 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 like this, like this, like this. At this time, at this time, at this time. And by the way, I'm gonna be in Hawaii for 3 of those weeks, so I'll talk to you after that. Like, do you know what I mean? So what would be the heaven on earth? And then that is going to feel delicious to the little girl who didn't feel like she had a lot of control. And as a 5-1, you are a natural born leader. The way that people experience you first is by the energy of the 5. That's the first line. The 5 is like Tony Robbins on a stage, leader energy. So they actually love it. They actually crave your leadership, and the more that you just stand up, it's kind of like Leo energy. The more that you just kind of stand up, but I know you're Aries, so it's fire sign energy. But the more that you kind of stand up and just be like this, 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 I call the shots. People are like, oh, okay, and like they love it, and it gives you more to respond to with your manifesting generator playing ping pong with the universe. Like you throw out yes, they throw something back, toop, 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 toop. Yes, 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 yes. But we have to play ball with those yes and no's. Does that make sense?
I love that. Yeah, no, I love that. And I think what I'm also kind of getting from this is I'm going, oh yes, okay, I'm at it again. I'm second guessing myself. I'm overthinking it. That's 1,000% what I feel as well. So I know there's that. I know what I'm feeling, and that is that yes.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, I guess I do. Like, I do know that I do all the things and I do it well. So I
There's
think
a-
I just kind of need to see it play out and trust myself in doing that.
So the
So
yes,
yeah, yeah.
this April
No,
yes,
that feels good.
this
Thank
April
you.
yes is such a gift because it
Mhm.
means that there's a way, and then the mind will overthink. So like I made a huge decision the other day too, standing in the kitchen of my house, and I was like, a big decision. And I was like, ooh, and I'm like, I don't know if my husband is gonna like that. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I should do that. And I said, but I want it. I know I do. I know it's right. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna live this whole weekend as if I just get to have everything that I want. And when my body says that I want it, I just get to have it. And then Monday morning, when I sat at my desk and I got into my work and I started like moving things around and playing with things, I was like, holy shit, I can do it. And it was the best feeling. But the yes will always lead you to the how. The next step will appear. Yeah?
Okay. Yeah. Trust the process. Yes,
Okay,
for
I know
sure.
you're gonna,
I feel it. I
I
let
know
it.
you're gonna DM me some more information about this.
Oh, probably.
Okay.
Probably.
All right, thank you so much,
Thank you.
Kayla, you're so welcome. Okay, Anastasia, Beverly Hills, Erin, ladies, who's next? Who's next? First one up. Okay, Anastasia. Hi, lovely.
Yeah, you go, Erin. You were here first.
She's not gonna do it. You do it, Anastasia.
Find the unmute button.
Did she unmute you?
Yeah, unmute button. Find it.
Oh.
Yeah, I can go. I can go. Everything everyone's talking about is so relatable, by the way. And it's so interesting how it's like these different facets of what I've been thinking about. They're all so different from each other, but I'm just like, yeah, and that. It's wild.
Amazing.
But I've noticed during this time, there is a pain point. So just all of these wild moves that have been happening, and just a peek behind the curtain of what's been happening during Currency Current for me is I've had all of these inquiries come in. I've been flooded with new clients, whereas at the beginning of this year, it was a desert. And then through Currency Current, Conscious Opulence, one-on-ones with Krista, and now, Killer Queen.
Mhm.
I've just been inundated with work, and it's so exciting, but it's overwhelming. And we've already covered all of the feelings of overwhelm that I'm experiencing. And then just kind of this, the fear and the feelings of fear and excitement, and being able to differentiate between both of those. All of those questions have been answered, which is lovely. But something that I experienced is, during this time, my fiance has been finding a way for us to build our home. And it's been a wild experience because we were not planning on doing it so soon. And we've been planning on renting for like the next 5 years. And, maybe in like 3 to 5 years, we'll build our, forever home and work on the next phase of life. And just during this time, Kyle has found this way for us to build our home for hundreds of thousands of dollars less than what we expected. Yeah. And
Hundreds of thousands?
yes, hundreds of thousands. Especially because we decided to build a container home, which is wildly inexpensive, and our dream home at that, which is like beautiful and wildly inexpensive. So during this time, Kyle found this container home configuration, and we were like, yes, let's do this. We finally found it. And then over the course of Currency Current, he found these pre-made container homes. So essentially, not only would we be saving hundreds of thousands of dollars just to build our forever home, to build this particular container home, we found a way to do it between $50,000 and $100,000 less than what we expected just for the container home itself. I hope that makes sense.
Yes.
So Nothing is set in stone. I will know on Friday if this is a final yes, but we spoke with a lender and they said the odds are in your favor. So so it's so wild. And then on top of that, I've been making, some pretty big moves on Instagram, really putting myself out there. I created my first passive income project, which is so cool, my Mercury retrograde survival guide. And so anyway, all of this being said, people in my life are looking at me and going, huh, you're making some really big moves right now. And these are it seems a bit strange to them or maybe rushed and hurried. And so I've been getting some backlash. So that's the point I'm trying to get to is I've been getting a little bit of backlash and kind of mitigating reactions from friends. For example, I have a friend who it's kind of her specialty to be like in marketing and social media marketing and product-based business. And I've gotten a flood of messages from her about my Mercury retrograde survival guide and a little bit rude too. So I guess that's the point I'm getting to. I'm not trying to be super negative here, but I've gotten some rude feedback from people in my life and they're just kind of like, what are you doing, Erin? Like, what is this? And even when I posted a little preview of my guide, this friend said she immediately messaged me right after I posted it in my story. And she asked, graphs, previews, like just kind of like all of these questions about it. And so that being said,
Weirdo.
What's that?
What a weirdo, but I'll say more.
Weird, really weird, and also like a longtime friend. So I'm experiencing questions from, oh, thank you, Kayla.
Yeah.
Thought it's relatable. And I also feel like it's a little negative, which I think is the things that I've been experiencing in all of these containers and specifically Currency Current is just this wild, like, what do I want my dream life to look like? And seeking it out with not reckless abandonment, but just this really solid understanding that time is on my side, understanding quantum physics even more, understanding the way that money works. And so with that knowledge, I'm making humongous moves very quickly.
And why should you not? Why should you not?
Right. So I guess my question is, how can I approach responding to people who I know love me, I think love me, who are just like, Erin, what are you doing? You're building a container home. You're moving out into a rural area surrounded by the forest. Is that what you really want? Or, do you really know how to launch this passive income project? I've never seen you do this before. Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Wow. That's jealousy. And it's okay. My AC is on and I'm freezing. I'm just gonna walk right there. I'm literally here.
Okay.
I'm freezing. Okay. Every time it moved, you guys, I was like, okay. Okay. They are. Okay. Here's what happened. You have done a time jump. You have done a quantum time jump, a time shift, which. Yes, you should. This is what we talk about. You joined Killer Queen at the beginning of the year. You upgraded into conscious opulence. You show up for everything. You do the work. You were curious. We've had one-on-one time. That's been amazing. Of course, you should have quantum leaps. Of course. But here's what I'm seeing right now is they are responding to a past version of you. They are responding to a previous timeline version of you. They don't get it yet. And there's a future version of them, or there's another timeline version of them that do get it. So what you need to do now, I mean, I reacted immediately with judgment. I'm like, they're jealous. That's weird. I did make those judgments, but we want to assume that people are concerned out of care and love. And like when they see us moving really fast, I mean, it's normal, right? To do it out of care and concern. So speaking to them, assuming that they're saying it out of concern, and just be like, thank you so much. And even if it feels kind of fake or like playing dumb, but playing dumb can be very powerful, where it's like you were assuming the best of them. Like, oh my God, thank you so much for your concern. I can feel how concerned you are through your messages. I really appreciate that. But really, I'm so happy. So this would be your informing boundary moment where you say, thank you so much for your concern. I so receive that care from you. Thank you so much. And just be like, yeah, you know what? I'm really excited. Me and Kyle, we have wanted this for so long. That's actually always been the plan. The home, it's always actually been the plan. So we're really, really excited. Thank you so much for checking in on me with that. But yeah, we're really, really excited. It's what we've always wanted, and it's amazing that it's happening. And it's just great. And just be like, and yeah, with my business, when business is exploding, I'm working with an amazing business mentor. I'm an incredible business mastermind with so many other brilliant women. And I'm so inspired. I have so much support. And just say that I have so much support and so much guidance from my mentor and from all of these other women that this I can imagine from the outside it looks like this is all happening fast, but actually this is stuff that I've been working on this whole year behind the scenes, and it's just everything is coming out now. So thank you so much. I'm so excited, and it's all going really, really well. And then so that's like a declaration, that's informing them, that's a boundary. And if they come, however they come back to you, could be three things. One could be, oh, okay, that's great. Yeah, it's just happening really fast. I'm so happy to hear that you're happy. It's amazing. I love following along. Could be something like that. Whether it's sincere or not, it could be something like that. It could be, second one, be like, well, I don't really know if you know what you're doing. And I remember when you made a mistake when you were 16 years old. And so I was just wondering if you're doing the same thing now. And they could be trying to bring you down. And if they do that, you just be like, you know what? I'm really not available for this. I'm a grown woman. I'm getting married soon. I've been a business owner and an entrepreneur for a long time. Bring your haterade somewhere else. I'm not available for it. We can take a pause on that. And then you can just remove the pleasure of your company. Less likely, but possible. Third possible response is quite neutral, where they're just like, oh, okay, well, that sounds good then. And you're like, okay, thanks. And just carry on. So start out with the positive, informing, thank you for being concerned, but excited, effervescent, kind of like that, expecting the heaven on earth timeline that they're happy for you and they're concerned out of love. Respond to that version and then see what you get back. But either way, from that point, you will have drawn a line in the sand, and then however they respond from there will dictate the path of the relationship, how it goes forward. I have a very strong sense though, like the friend, I had a very strong hit of jealousy, or like, you're doing this without me. So like, why aren't you consulting me? Why don't I know about this? Why aren't you partnering with me on this? Why am I not doing something like this? You're outgrowing me. You're moving faster than me. And there's something jealous there, potentially. What do you think?
I think you're right. I think that especially because I came out of that wild 2-year period where I was a little bit wounded and relied on my friends a little bit more, probably the most vulnerable time of my life, where I was like, you didn't know this was happening, but it is, and I would love your help here. I know that I have friends who have like this really, they really enjoyed like being my
Your mother
having
panicked you a little bit?
yeah. And so maybe seeing me just kind of sprout and grow very quickly and no longer like just shed because it's done.
Yeah.
Maybe that makes them uncomfortable or they're not used to it.
And it could be that they need to have the relationship redefined. So
Yeah.
they've been in everybody protect Erin. Erin's a little baby bird and we have to keep her safe, you know? But now you've outgrown that role and you've outgrown that need. So now they just need to switch the channel. And then that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna just inform them and be like, yeah, actually I've been working on this for like a year and this is something that we've always wanted. And I've been really focusing on all of this and now it's all coming together right now. And it's really, really cool. But I feel super supported, super strong with all of it. And I couldn't be happier. So thank you so much. And yeah, and then that should adjust them, be like, oh, okay, so she's she's good. But if you're still feeling any notes of like criticism or jealousy, I would just, if people are jealous or curious, or if people are curious or judging what you're doing, how you're doing it, how you're putting it out there, I sometimes have just been cheeky where I've just been like, well, if you really want to know about my business, then there's a link in my bio where you can book in a call and we can have a session if you want, and then you can get to know what my business is. But it's kind of like, fuck you, pay me. Like, if you want to know what my business is, then become a client. And if you have this much bitterness inside you, maybe you should, kind of thing. It's like, you know, you don't have shit to explain to anybody. And if they're curious about the Mercury retrograde guide, then they can spend the $27 and get it. Like, it's easy, right? So that's not on your side of the street. And
Yeah.
And if people have questions about that, just be like, what do you want to know? Like, what are your questions? And just be like, you know that I'm spiritual, you know that I'm super into tech, that's literally my job, so I'm not sure what part about this is surprising or confusing, you know?
I love that.
Just like, what about this are you not getting? Like, it's not like I shave my head and have like a rainbow mohawk now. Like, what is confusing? And so just speaking that truth to power. And, you know, when you change your frequency and you change your vibration, some things spin off, some things spin away. They have to be the same frequency to keep spinning with you when your orbit changes. And some people will fall away sometimes. That's okay. Are you going to slow down? Are you going to be basic? Are you going to not? So that you can stay in Debbie Downer town with these people? No, you're not.
No.
So it's okay. You're allowed to grow. That's the other thing. You're allowed to grow. It's not just about this is who you've always been. You're also allowed to evolve, and you're going to continue to evolve. And friends evolve together or they don't. But, you know, and I mean, there's also something, people get very triggered when they see people really making moves and doing it. Like, there was a woman who, she wasn't really a friend. She's the wife of one of my husband's colleagues. Spoiler alert, I don't like either of them. But before I had my business, she was one of the only women that I knew here. And just when I was launching Femlux, right before the pandemic hit, we had lunch. And I told her that I was like, oh, I'm starting an online business. I just signed up for this program. I'm starting an online. She's like, oh, that's cute. With like the head tilts. I'm like, that's really cute for you. And I'm like, thanks. Like, that seems really cunty of you, but whatever. So then the pandemic happened. We didn't see anybody for a while. So I basically didn't see her for 2 years. Then I saw her at a function for the hospital where my husband works, like a summer function. And I guess she got pregnant during the pandemic and had another baby. They have like 10 babies. They don't have 10, but like a lot, enough. And then I was like, well, I had a baby too. I'm like, my business has totally taken off. And she was like, oh. And then, so she got her baby. And then she's like, oh, well, tell me about your business. Da, da, da. And the look on her face, when I told her, I'm like, it's thriving. I'm like, so, you know, it's a coaching business and da da da, and it's evolved like this and that, and I have group programs, and I've got a mastermind that I'm running, and I've got clients from like Sweden to Asia to Western Canada to the States to, you know, I have clients like everywhere, you know, and it's such a cool community, da da da. And I literally saw like her face was like, for a minute before she covered it up, was like rage, like not just jealous, but like just visceral anger. And I was like, I was like, well, I'm like, I'm sorry sorry, you know, and it's the same. She's never really spoken to me since, but that's okay. We weren't meant to be friends because she can't handle the shine. It's not my fault.
Right.
It's not my problem, it's not my fault. So sometimes we're going to trigger people into consciousness, whether that's for their benefit or not. What we can control is where we go and what we do with it. So you never have to stay in a space or in a relationship with people who drag you down, right? Like, the same kind of thing happens sometimes when I go back to my home city in Canada and see people and they're just like, oh, well, like, you're very fancy. And I'm like, I've always been fancy, actually. And they're like, well, that's true. And like, well, I wish I could do something. Like, I'm like, you really can. Like, you literally can. You can Google anything. I did it with an online course. I learned from nothing. If I did it, you can do it too. It's like, go do you. So just let them be. You set your standard. Does that make sense? And then,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you. And I know I feel like I'm kind of dodging your into like what you're saying about your intuitive feeling about my friend, but I do think that you're right. And it's so disappointing to admit that because I would really love her to be happy for me if I'm being totally honest and like supportive. But it hurts when people are jealous and when I experience that from people.
You deserve it. You've worked for this and you're gonna keep working for this.
Yeah.
How much are you supposed to suffer before you're allowed to win? Do you know what I mean? And like, some people only feel their own worth or power in contrast to somebody else's suffering. And then they're always like, well, I'm good because I'm doing better than her. And then when we rise up and we change that standard, they're like, oh, I can't compare myself to, oh no, now she's up here, but now and that's their own wounded way of thinking, but that's never a reason for us to stay small. So what can happen, there is a heaven on earth timeline outcome for this too, where she has like kind of that like come to Jesus moment where she's like, oh my gosh, I'm being gross as a friend. Like, actually, I'm jealous. Like, she can realize that in herself and she can kind of let it go. There could be even like a magical moment where it's like, can I be honest with you? It kind of feels like, I feel like you're not happy for me. Like, I'm really, really proud of this. And I don't know why, but I kind of get the vibe of like judgment or like, you're not happy for me. And if I'm wrong about that, I apologize, but our friendship has been really important to me and it is important to me. So I just have to kind of clear the air on that. Like, is there anything that we should talk about? Or, because like, I really care about you and we can talk, there could be that kind of conversation too, which could be really beautiful. I've been on both sides of that conversation and all of those friendships just blossom in such a beautiful way because of the honesty. So there could be, if the passive aggressive jabs don't quit, I would say to either drop her or have a conversation like that and just be like, no, I'm getting a vibe and I just wanted to address it. Like, I'm wondering what your problem is with this because I feel like you're being pretty judgy and I'm not really sure why. And if she was like, well, then she has to own those actions and either deny or like double down or apologize. But at least then it's off your plate.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that advice. I have not really confronted friends before in that way. So I think that's a great challenge. Aside from that, I know I said multiple people, but I have a couple of friends who I can tell that they're struggling, that I've, within 2 years, I met the love of my life and now we're getting married and building a home. And, I feel like I'm triggering people and in different ways. So that's really constructive to, feel empowered to have an open and frank discussion with my friends in such a powerful way.
Also, like, you have, like, somebody very close to me was triggered by like a huge income month that I was celebrating. And I'm a Manny Jen with a defined throat. I think you have an open throat, Erin, don't you? Or am I not?
I do.
I think so. Or?
I know that I have trouble in my throat area. So I think
So I think your throat, but this part, so like, I'm a Manny Jen, so I can just like, for me, it's like, and my husband says it's a superpower. I'm like, if you could fly or be invisible or shapeshift, what would your superpower be? He's like, it would be talking shit like you, like just being able to just say it. I'm like, oh. But so a person said to me, they were jealous and triggered by my success in this 1 month, and I did like reel on them. It was in person. Germans are very direct though, so you always know how a German feels, which I guess I'm grateful for. But I like reeled on them and I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like, how much do I have to suffer before I'm allowed to be successful in your opinion? And what's the limit of the success before you start turning shitty towards me? And they were like, ugh. And I'm like, I have PTSD. I lived in student housing with my husband because we moved into a flood. I had cancer. I've had 11 operations. I've had 3 miscarriages. I exploded my knee and was brought down a mountain in a body bag and then took a train to the hospital where nobody spoke English with a backpack and crutches and then got blisters on my hands. Like, how much do I have to suffer? And now you're mad that I'm winning? And I'm like, so and then I stopped talking, quiet power talking. And then I stopped talking and I'm like, and they were like, "Ugh." So like, just stop talking and then let them have to fill in the space. I've never heard shit from that person or any of those people again. I'm like, don't even. So my point is that you have suffered a lot. You have worked hard. Nobody can diminish. Like, just because you're an interior creature and you're not like blasting out all of your woes, you know, all over the internet or like in the group chat with the friends or whatever, like just because you're a stoical and interior creature, it doesn't mean that you haven't been through your fires and you deserve to win now. Also, you've been putting your money where your mouth is. You joined Killer Queen, you paid in full. You joined Conscious Opulence and you made that move. You didn't know it was gonna happen. You've shown up to everything. So you have earned it. You've bought and paid for this success with everything. So and for people, if they compare to somebody else and say like, well, I want the lowest common denominator. I want us all to stay shitty so that we're all suffering together at the same time. Be like, well, I'm not available for that. That's not the life that I want for me, and it's not the life that I want for you. So I think it's a wonderful thing to be the evidence of what's possible. Like, it's alien life. Like, that's what we talk about. It's alien life. Sometimes it can be very lonely, but it's also why we have these online communities so that you can feel normal and celebrated loudly for who you are.
Yeah. I mean, thank goodness for these containers because this is like my 5 closest friends.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. They'd be terribly lonely if it wasn't like here in Germany where I live. There's nobody who looks like me. I'm 40 years old. I'm a 40-year-old cancer surviving mother who looks like this. Who really I get to do whatever the fuck I want because that's the way that I've designed my life. But also I've gone through like the spiritual like death, birth, regurgitation cycle like every 6 weeks for the last fucking years, and the existential crisis that comes with it. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on private mentorship, and I've made huge risks and have lost huge. I've suffered huge, and I continue to make big risks. So, you know, like I'm sorry, I won't play small, and I won't be quiet, and I'm not gonna be less because other people are afraid to be more. And that's a motto, I have to put that on a coffee cup. That's a motto for all of us. We're not gonna be less because other people are afraid to be more. No. So, but you can be, remember that like as a generator, your happiness is a magnet that pulls people with you. So holding space and being like, I understand that people are triggered. You're feeling better now for your death and rebirth cycles. Good, Adria. But understand that like when you are the evidence of what's possible, then you create kind of like a vacuum where people are more likely to be able to come with you. We all need a trailblazer. And if you're the trailblazer in the group of friends, that's amazing. And holding space for the way that people can be triggered. Like, okay, so if they always have had lack or they have never really had luck and love, to have compassionate for that and being like, yes, I understand how hard that is. And I also know how wonderful it is to not feel like that. And that's what I wish for you. You know? It's okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Thank you, Krista.
Stay shining. I love it. That's really cunty of you.
I agree.
All the time. I even say cunty content, like cunty content in Instagram. If I'm not pissing people off at least a couple of times a week in my content, I'm doing it wrong. Cunty
Love
content.
it.
Big moneymaker, like provoking into consciousness. This is what we do. Good thing I'm on mute because I was in stitches for 5 minutes. I love it. Okay, Anastasia, darling.
Thanks for letting me go first.
Oh yes, of course, of course. I don't have a question per se, but I'm sure one will come out. But everything's been so helpful. And I felt like in the current, like I just feel this like momentum, like it's building, like it's like I'm about like the dam is about to like break, you know, and is, you know, things are going to be flooding in. And you know, I did the practice I asked you about in conscious opulence, you know, around bill and bills and invoice. And so I did that. I did the Ho'oponopono, got rid of it,
Hey,
feel good, feel
yeah.
good about releasing that story. And and then, you know, and then just a lot of uncovering. Like I feel like the last 3 weeks have just been like a whirlwind with everything, kind of like Simone was saying, like just a lot of action everywhere. And that it tends to be the pattern anyway with this time of year for me. So I mean, I was expecting it because a lot of the time I'm just like real slow, real slow and chill, like nothing. And then it's like everything at once. But that's fine because I was expecting it. I'm ready.
You
No
mentioned
problem. And I like it. I like being active. And I have been planning my downtime, you know, prioritizing it in there, not doing work on the weekend and just doing my own thing. Um, so yeah, so I feel like a lot came out in the currency current and money too. I actually feel like I got the money before, like in the pre currency current with just the babysitter issue, you know, is just like, well, it's done. And then you get some more. So that's been really good.
that's
Um
something I have to say really quick. I have to interject. There was something in Currency Current about not taking ourselves out of the game. So that's something, even when you receive really fast, I still want you to be plugged in to be like, okay, thank you, more please. Okay, thank you, more please. Not being like, oh, okay, thank you. I guess I'm done. No, just
yeah.
thank you, more please. Like you get to keep receiving. Does that, okay,
Mhm.
I had to say that, now keep standing.
Okay, yeah, I will. I definitely. I listened to that when you were doing the little intro, and that makes so much sense. And actually, tomorrow would have been my grandma's birthday, and like so for so many years, it was always like it's grandma's birthday. It's 88, you know. So it's, you know, it's extra special, and just I had never thought about it like that. I didn't know what Lionsgate was really like. I mean, I just thought it was a cool day, you know, a cool birthday to have, you know, 88.
There's a big,
So
there's a big astrologer that I follow who had like a whole like rant about it and like I don't know, but 8-8 it's money, the Lionsgate portal in Leo. But then I have seen online, I have seen a lot of coaches and like thought leaders in the industry, air quotes, who started like really marketing hard on it, and I'm like, that's not the energy. In my opinion, that's not this energy. It's always supposed to be about love first and like
yeah.
doing so. Keep it about love. It's your grandma's birthday, and bless her. You know, that's
Mhm.
motherly, like divine maternal love. You know, that goes for infinity, even after we're not here anymore. So I love that it's your grandma's birthday tomorrow. That makes it even.
It's nice. It's
Mhm.
nice. Let me see. And so, you know, one of the assignments we had in Currency Current was to kind of you know, it was like taking inspired action, asking for a promotion or a raise, like kind of making your own um
Ooh,
job.
yeah.
And so I got the idea. I remembered that, you know, I work for a college, right? And so we have a department that's called continuing education. And actually at UT Austin, they used to have a very extensive continuing ed department. I feel like I took a hypnosis class with them, and like they had all kinds of classes. And I don't think they do that anymore because I searched everywhere and so did Bettina, and we couldn't find it. Now it's more like certificate programs, more businessy stuff. But anyway, at ACC, where I work at the community college, we have a department like that too. And I remembered that 2 years ago, when I was pregnant, I was on a hiring committee. And we met several times because we could not fill this position. And one of the women who was on that committee was in continuing ed. She was a coordinator, and we had nice conversations about her kids, like her kids were young and whatnot. So I got the idea. I was like, I should just reach out to her and ask her if they need classes like what we've been delivering, you know. mindfulness, whatever, wellness, whatever. So I emailed her and I said, over the last year, these are the workshops we presented for adult ed. And this is what we did at the summit, the technology summit. This is what we're doing. Actually, I did one yesterday and we're doing another one today. And, I gave her the list and I said, and it doesn't have to be this for teachers. It can be for the general public, whatever. I'm just curious, how does that work? And so she got back to me and she was like, oh my gosh, yes, I remember you. And she's like, let's set a meeting. Right now it's super busy, but let's set a meeting for mid-September and we can talk about it more because there is a need, and she said somebody had reached out to her about doing an emotional intelligence class, so she was like, I definitely see a need. We'll talk about the options because they offer all kinds of workshops. So it could be like a 1-day thing, or it could be a semester long thing, or like a 3-day thing. And I don't know how they pay the instructors either. I guess, if they depend on the enrollment or if it's just flat or what. I have no idea. But anyway, she did get back to me and that was promising. So that was good. And we got our feedback yesterday from the free workshop that we did for the college. And I mean, we only had there was 10 people there, but it was a technology summit. So I was happy with 10 people because we weren't exactly like everybody else. And the feedback was really good. They rate you on 1 to 5 and we got 5s across the board. So
Amazing.
we were pleased. And yesterday the paying one, so this was the first workshop we did where we were paid to give a workshop to an outside group. And there were 30 people there. We weren't expecting so many, but there were 30 at that one. And there's 25 for tonight. So we're like, wow, and they were very active and participatory. And so it was really good. I think we'll have positive feedback from that as well. So, like I said, I feel like there's a lot of momentum building up.
Mhm.
And so, kind of like what Adria was talking about, the visibility thing.
Mhm.
I go through some days I don't even touch social media, and then other days I'm like, oh great, I feel inspired. I want to look at everybody, I want to see everything, I want to contribute. And so I did on Friday, I just talked about how we've been doing these workshops and that mindfulness, especially for educators, is really important. And just talking about it. And I said, I'll say more later. And then and lots of people liked it and said yes, teachers are great. We know this, right? We know teachers are superheroes. But I guess I'm trying to, I hate trying. I am. I'm working it out right now as to how to just I mean, I think my audience is pretty consistent. I have the same people, that love me and watch and will interact with me. And I think I just need to continuously be in my stories, just even if it's just, sharing something else to let people know that I'm still there and I'm still doing stuff and
Yeah. Absolutely.
but I don't know what the struggle is. It's getting easier.
Mhm.
It's getting easier, but I have a ton of content, just content there that I've made, but I haven't, I just don't put it out there. And I don't know, everything in my human design, it's everything is open except for
Okay.
my root.
Mhm.
And I think the spleen, whatever's on the left side of the diagram, that's
I
closed.
have your
So,
human design open with me
oh, you
right
do? Okay. So I don't know if that, if there's a trick or anything that makes it a little easier
now.
or.
So you have so many open centers and there's so many gifts with these open centers though. So one that really comes through right now is with the Open G Center, you have a talent for being put in the right place at the right time with the right people. I also can see that you are attuned. You are attuned to work with people who have the energy of the line 4, which is community, which is the network, the community, people who celebrate, who really hold community as high regard and high importance, having their people in their space, you are designed to speak to those people, to really deeply resonate and connect with those people, which I would say makes you exactly perfect for what you're doing and how you're doing it. It's very cool.
Good.
Yeah. So, and then as a projector, you are to be a lighthouse, okay? I am here to inform people and to respond to people's needs or desires. Like I sense where there's a gap, I respond. I get that urge and I respond. You are meant to be like a lighthouse where it's like, here I am, here's what I know, here's the way to do stuff. And it's like the energy of a wise guide. So it's like you're walking ahead and you've got a lamp, a lantern, and you're walking along the path and you're going anyway. And your Instagram stories and your Instagram posts and content is like the way that the light is falling on the path so that everybody else can follow where you're going. Your content is the light that you cast, that other people can follow and see where you're going. And where you're going is the place that they want to go. Because people can only see the projector's wisdom when that wisdom is, when they have a place for that wisdom to land in their body. That's why projectors get so frustrated with not being seen or not being heard. But this is where projectors find the peace and like needing to be invited. But projectors can find the peace of like only the people who really get me are coming with me. And that's why it's energetically light on my nervous system, because I don't have a defined sacral. I don't have limitless energy for all these people. I'm not carrying all you people. I can. You are not supposed to. So your energy output, you don't have to respond. You don't have to wait to respond. The generators have to wait to respond to the universe. That's why you ladies, I'm pointing at you both. You have to go out and live life so that the universe can give you something to respond to. If you're sitting at your desk trying to make something happen, you got nothing to respond to. So you have to go live your life, have fun, go for a walk, go to that place, you're gonna get something to respond. You, darling Anastasia, your stories are how you turn the lighthouse on. And then you show them where they can go. And it's literally you sharing your opinions. It's you sharing what you know. It's sharing your opinions. You even have like army leader energy, like influential army leader energy where people just want what you have. Like, what outfit are you wearing? What hair oil are you using? What face wash do you use? Show us your products. Like affiliate marketing, affiliate sales would be something really, really easy for you. So if there's a product.
Yeah, that sounds easy. That'd be nice.
Yeah, dude, you should work on that then as well. Because like when you just say like, oh, by the way, this is an awesome thing that I use. Here's why it's great, here's a link, and then you get 10% or 20% or something. That's an extra money pathway for you. It's you just showing, and then the other way, so you show them, you teach them, you educate them. So you're a 2-4, and you're attuned to work with people who have the 4. So community, yes, Erin says she can totally see this for you, Anastasia. Yes, affiliate sales.
Thanks, Erin.
So the 2-4 is like you make things look easy, and then everybody wants to learn from you and be in your room because you have such a calm, easy energy about you that's like, obviously I can learn from her. She's calm, she has mastered it. I can learn from her. So like you're a networking community person too. So am I. Like I'm a 1-4, so I have the 4. You know how much I love my Femlux fam. You know how obsessed and grateful I am for every single follower who's in my world. So there's a lot of gratitude. So for you, teaching them in the stories, be like, you guys, I learned something so cool. Or like, or it could just be like, so a lot of people think this, but actually here's something that I have learned over many years. We actually don't have to do this, we can do this. And be like, what do you guys think? Tell me in the comments below. And that's a reel, that's a piece of content, that's a story. Sometimes what I do is I record in my stories, and then I download it and then I will just upload that as a reel. So I'll post it in my stories, but then I post it in my feed too. And then I'm like, hey, double down on my content, easy. So just like teaching content like that, just basically, hey, did you guys know this? So a lot of people think that, you know, meditating has to be hard or that it has to be something, a really rigid practice, but actually meditation can be going for a walk in nature. Meditating can be 3 minutes of sitting in silence. Meditating can be, you can educate people about this. That's powerful content for you, just teaching content like that. And then in your stories, you can tell them where to find you to get more. So like, we're gonna be having an in-person workshop here at this time, or we're gonna be doing an online event that's like this, or did you know that you can book a one-on-one session with me? And we can talk about bringing alignment and wellness and peace into your life. You're like the peace queen.
Thank you.
So I would love as well for your Instagram handle, I would love if your name, if it wasn't just Salud_SatTV, SatV, I know it's South Arizona TV.
Yeah, but it's San Antonio.
San Antonio, what am I talking about? But see, okay, so I'm a person in Europe and I have no idea what, so like,
Yeah.
is your name, like what is that? So I would love your Instagram handle to be expanded as you have expanded. Like I would like, something like wellness with Anastasia or Anastasia Wellness, something like that. And then in your bio, it can be host of Salud San Antonio, and then you can have a couple of other lines as well, like, you know, and we can talk about that in Conscious Opulence, your Instagram bio, but your name could be, your could be like @Anastasia_wellness or something. That's just an idea. I just saw a hummingbird. I'm not sure if hummingbirds are significant to you.
That's the name of my street. It's Hummingbird Hill. We have a little hummingbird feeder, and every morning I watch them. They come, they drink. Yes.
A huge flash of hummingbirds in my house. So
Yeah.
okay, that's beautiful. Maybe there's something.
Yes, it is.
Maybe there's some branding or logo. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something would be. But yeah. So I would love to see like some more of your ownership in the name, in your and then like keep doing what you're doing. For visibility, you don't always have to be face on camera. I think at least a couple of times a week, it's good to show our face, but you guys might notice I don't always show my face on camera. It's usually I'm like tired or like I'm on my period or like maybe I'm a little sick or maybe I just don't feel like it. And then how I show up in my stories is with like a beautiful aesthetic background. I go into Canva, whatever vibe. I'm a very visual person. Whatever vibe. I'm like, what's the texture? When I'm looking for inspiration, when I want to say something, but I want it to be like just right, I ask myself, if this was a color, what color would it be? If this was a song, what song would it be? What am I feeling? What do I want other people to feel? So like when I'm selling one-on-one coaching, it's like, this is big, this is fucking powerful. And that's why a lot of the time it's like ocean waves or something, nature like that. Cause I'm like, this is momentous, and I want people to feel that gravity. So that's me. So sometimes if I don't want to show my face, then I'm like, okay, what's the color of this? What's the texture of this? What's the song for this? And I just go into Canva, new project, Instagram story sized, go to elements, type something in, search videos. So I'm like black ocean, black sand, whatever it is. I see what videos are there, and then I shorten it down to be like 15 seconds, because that's how long the clip should be for Instagram. And then sometimes I drop my logo onto it, and now I've got a beautiful animated aesthetic background. Play with it however I want. I just download that blank thing into my phone, and then when I don't feel like showing up with my face and voice, because I don't like the pressure, I don't like the shoulds, I told you. So, but I want to go on a rant, and then I just want to type. Then I have my on-brand aesthetic background that's a vibe, that's a mood, and that is important, I think, because brand continuity and brand cohesion, like we feel, we see something, it makes us feel something. So how do you want people to feel when they're experiencing your brand? Like that's my vibe for my brand. Erin very much has her brand vibe established as well. It's completely different. So how do you want people to feel when they experience your brand? And then that's like an extension of you. That's like your heart. And then that is going to influence the way that they receive your wisdom. So it's a fun thing. But so you don't have to be pressured to be like hair, makeup, filter, show up, with your voice all the time. You also have beautiful hands, Anastasia. So sometimes like just
Yeah, I have really long fingernails that my grandma, my mom, we all have really long,
like
long nails.
so like a photo of your hand holding your coffee cup, or like something like that. Or
I
like,
was a hand model too, by the way.
What?
Yeah, I used to
Wow.
model jewelry for this online, well, no, they weren't online, but for a jewelry company, and yeah,
I love
so
that. Hands.
neck and hands.
love that.
Yeah.
So like pictures of your own, like I often use, I love my long nails as well, and look at this manicure, it's so pretty. You did it.
Yeah,
I do
nice.
for like a shiny metallic red, and I do them myself. That was
That's
my
pretty.
one of my coping skills. But yeah, so like I ask, what's the mood, what's the vibe, and then I'll take a picture of something, or like I'll take a screenshot of something. Like Mother's Day offers this year, I was looking at a pair of black and white Louboutin boots, and I took a screenshot from the website, and then I used those as my story slide backgrounds for the whole sales process of Mother's Day. Like a very successful thing. So like create the vibe, create the energy. What is the mood you want people to have? And then you can just type text over that. That's all. So that's an easy way to show up. That's still
Yeah.
intentional, but not putting the pressure of like, I have to be happy and shiny and bubbly and speak correctly and blah, 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 like when you don't feel like it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I love those pictures. I know you, and I know Erin does them too, like the coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
And there's actually, like, I've been looking around because, when I meditate in the morning, when I come out of my meditation, the sun is up. Or it's, it's
Hmm.
getting up. But from the front, I have a nice view. But from the side, I have a view where the sun comes up over like a lake in the distance. And it's really pretty. And I was like, I probably need to take a picture of this. And I can, show like, oh, it's morning and I just did my meditation and here's the view. It's not the view from where I'm sitting, but it is a view in the house that is really usually pretty nice.
And that's a nice way
So,
for you to lead by example, like just sharing. I always say to my clients, like, what's the truth? Like, what's the T? What's the capital T truth? Like, I have my espresso, I meditate, I journal. That's how I get myself straight. And then I do that. So
mhm.
what, for my audience, where do the actions that I know they can take intersect with their desired outcomes? So for my business model, that's going to be different than your business model, Anastasia.
Right.
So where do your daily actions, the tips and tricks, the life hacks, the things that you do that bring peace, the things that you do that keep you in alignment, the things that you do that help you manage your time and your energy as a mother and as a wife, the things that you do, how does that intersect with what your audience wants? And like, who are they? What do they want? And then my next question is like, and what are you selling? Like, how can we monetize your work or your Instagram further? So we'll go more into that in Conscious Opulence.
Mhm.
Yeah. So does that feel? I mean, we've had one hell of a call.
Yeah.
It's been amazing. But I think that we should probably wrap it up because I'm sure that
Yeah, thank you. That was very helpful. Yes.
yeah, but be the lighthouse. As a projector, just remember, be the lighthouse. It's very easy and it's very effortless for you. You're walking that way anyway. You're holding the lamp, you're walking that way anyway. But you choosing to share content, Instagram stories, Instagram posts, is how you illuminate the path for other people. So it's you're not trying to do anything. You're literally just turning the light on.
Yeah.
That's it. And then they will come. And we'll talk more about your money pathways in Conscious Opulence.
Yeah. That sounds great.
Well, I have loved this so much. You are so welcome, Adria. You are so welcome, everybody. The Currency Current, I like remember this is just one program, but this will stay with you forever. This is your program forever. You can go back. I have done it myself too. You don't need the group. You can do this with yourself, for yourself, anytime that you want. Hype yourself up, do the work, do the practices, be curious, and you can. One of the biggest things that I can say with money, there's something really powerful about declaring. And then it's like, I declare that I am a woman who receives X dollars or whatever, like this. And then if you feel an immediate rush of like doubt or like, okay, but fuck, how? If you feel that come up, very natural and very normal, then you make a declaration. I am a woman for whom all roads are made open. I know the answers are shown to me, and I simply receive because I do. I am because I am. And you make that decision. Like, it's hilarious, but like every time I've done that, when I've said I'm gonna have a 50K week, and then I say that to myself, and I have a 50K week within 2 days. And then I'm like, okay, well, am I having a 100K week? And that's where I've noticed in the past that I've pulled myself out because, oh, okay, well, I had the 50K week, so I guess I'm done now. But that's the thing that I say in Currency Current, stay in the game. Don't lean out, lean in and be like, thank you, more please, still going. And then you blow your own mind. Like, okay, I just love you girls all. I could talk so much about this. Thank you so much, Kayla, you are so welcome. Yeah, we're gonna go, but I will see you guys all around and I will see you in the next one again soon. I just know it. Thank you all for being here. I love you all. Ciao, ladies.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.